What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Coach Apxche, and today we are coaching a gold console gamer, right? Our boy, Sorry, 22. He's playing some Star-Lord, right? So, without further ado, we're going to talk about a little bit, a few things, basically, before we get into the game, right? So, playing Star-Lord, flanking character, DPS, we all know that, yada yada. What I really want to talk about is kind of like your team comp. So you're going to be the flank, obviously. Iron Man will kind of be like a backline, right? You have a Strange and you have a Groot. You have a Cloak and a Rocket. So, with that being said, your team comp is slow, right? So if you try to do something super aggressive and no one's following up on you, you cannot blame anybody but yourself. I'm not telling you not to play aggressive, but I want you to understand that your job this game is going to be kind of like farming tanks, getting off angles, right? Trying to finish kills. But like the whole hyper dive thing is not really gonna work unless your Groot is a mad lad and likes to run in, or vice versa with the Strange, right? So keep that in mind. So me personally, I like to fight for high ground. So what I like to do when I come out of spawn is I'll do what you're doing. I'll fly up a little bit, and as I'm falling, I'll start shooting the door, and I'll literally use cooldowns because I'm using the cooldowns not only to get there faster, but I want to break that door. So I'll like fly up, shoot the door, and if I can't kill it with one clip, I'll just do a little flip to make sure I burst down that door so it's open for my team already, and I can get through there as quickly as possible. One thing I would keep in mind though, and I would assume that you did already, is just listen for if your strain's going to portal or not. Honestly, if he's going to portal, you still might have to break the door for him so that he can quickly get here. If not, he's going to have to go a different direction. If he wants to portal y'all high ground, that's cool too. But if he's not going to do that, just probably lean towards what I said to do and break that door. For right now, this door should be broken already. Oh yeah. So like look at the difference, right? So look at the difference. Look, see how far they are, and we're gonna go back and we're gonna see if they did something similar to what I said. No. So he's not shooting it because he don't know any better either. But somebody breaks the door, so I'm assuming it's the Iron Man, right? With the rockets. But as you can see, yeah, they break the door. There's no need to hide that you're breaking the door. They're not gonna hear it, and even if they do, who cares? Break that door, get that high ground first. Because look at all the space they get by the time you break the door. And this can make or break the first fight because now they've already won this space, this positioning. So now if to fight into this would be to fight a losing fight. You're fighting into high ground. The only way to get up is through here unless you have vertical mobility. So your team is now forced to just kind of like forget it and go through here, and now they're gonna have high ground advantage on you, right? So this map in particular, you want to get there as fast as possible, break that door, and you want to get this space. Even if you get here and you can't hold it because there are like too many there and your team's not close enough, you can just back off, right? And chill. But at least you've shown presence, right? And you've fought for that control, even if it's just by showing presence. Right. Your team still wants to fight for it, so I would have stayed there. Especially because your Iron Man's already kind of over here. So, ability usage, right? Obviously, auto aim. You want to be kind of close though. If I'm you here, I'm, if anything, dashing in with the flight, when flying in, and trying to go a little bit up and then using it because you can use it while you fly. So, it took me a while to figure it out, honestly, which is kind of embarrassing. But we'll use this as a template. Or so, your Star Lord, yay, right? A lot of like new Star Lords, people who don't play a lot, they'll just pop the ability and they'll just be on the floor, and then you'll get blown up. But if you pop your flight, you can pop your flight and pop that ability, so now you can like while you're doing that, right? So now you're so hard to hit, you know what I'm saying? While you're above the person you're trying to hit, like, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to go at a straight line at this guy, because then pew pew, by going above his head, it's a lot better. And then you're kind of just leaving without any information. You're not low. You still have cooldowns. Like you can still be in there. So right now, my biggest concern right now is just your activity in fights. Just not as active enough. Yeah. When you're like actively in fights like that, obviously if you can use natural cover, that's cool. Because in this case, if you're here fighting him, you can reload normally, and then so you don't have to force your dodge. But if you're gonna actively fight him and be in the open, you should be using your dodges to reload. Not only because it's gonna be a quicker reload, but it's gonna dodge damage as well. Just don't overcommit. So look at your positioning, right? And this, even though you're doing this little dash stuff, it's not as elusive as you think. You can still get hit pretty easily if they just kind of shoot towards the center. You're in front of one, two, three, four, five people, and there's probably a sixth guy around here somewhere. I'm probably tripping, but yeah, they're just all gonna shoot you, right? What I would prefer you do is get what I like to call an off angle. Oh, there's six right there. So if you by you getting over here by using dashes or your flight, you can now actively play this like right here and shoot this guy without being in like direct threat of everybody. And if somebody else, fights you, you still have this cover. Obviously, you have to be wary of this. But obviously, audio cues, your teammates will make call outs. You can also just gauge by counting people that you see. So you can get an estimate of where people are going to go. Right? Because you could be here, you can shoot him without the fear of getting shot. You can fight people if you need to, right? And you still have that natural cover. We'll just break it down now. There is, when it comes to just playing games like this, right? You have cover, cooldowns, health points. And the reason why it's like this, right? This is the most important because when you reach zero health, what does that mean? You die. When you run out of cooldowns, what does that mean? Now all you have is your health to win duels, right? So you're still okay, but you're like, uncomfortable. But when you have natural cover, you're really happy. And why? Because the difference between yourself and natural cover is no matter what they do, they cannot break this wall. This wall is unbreakable. Are there walls that are breakable? Yes. This one, for example, is not. So they can shoot at it as much as they want, use as many cooldowns, whatever, yada yada yada. As long if they're shooting this wall, you're behind here, you're not dying, right? So you want to abuse that. How do they counter? They walk around, right? And at that point, you have to use your cooldowns and your health, right, to kind of get the maximum value you can to win that fight, or at least force out value, yada yada yada. But just keep that in mind. Natural cover is going to be your best friend. It's the most important tool in games like this because it makes you go in from 200 health to infinite health. In theory. Unforked. You got res though. So he's actually not in the ult. So this actually might be a good fight for you to take if you want to take it aggressively, right? So one thing to keep in mind is be aware of your teammates' positions. Like the enemy is really scattered out. He's not in the ult. So if he wants to stay out there, I'd aggress on him. Try to take this fight out here. Now, if he ignores you and he comes into here, which he should do, right? And get into this ult and try to fight you there, then you can get out. I mean, your cloak looks like they ulted as well. So technically, you can probably sit in here without taking any damage. And still getting healed. But hey, however you want to do it, right? But I think you could take this fight here. That's a very winnable fight. Yeah, you definitely don't know that you can fly and do that. It's gonna change your life. When I figured it out, because I would watch Nightmare play, Super Gomez, which would be in the air. And I'm like, brother, how does he do it? Nice little ult. Hey, that's value. That's 2 picks. So you've won the fight. So you really don't have anything to do. If I'm you here, I don't really think that Iron Man does anything. And you technically have teammates who can shoot him. So in my head, what I would want to do is I would want to build my ult again. When you look at their comp, they have, yeah, they still have a cloak. But I'd come here and I just start like farming the Hulk for ult so I can get my ult again. Because you got nothing else to do. You've already won the fight. There should be no way they win this fight unless Iron Man flies in and kills like 3. You know what I'm saying? So you should just build up your ult here. I won't even worry about Iron Man. Forget that guy. Oh, look, and Hulk turns big. Man, I'm just shooting that guy. This is an ult battery right now. Oh, don't go in front of that, though. Ah. Also, once it's captured, you don't have to sit on it. It'll go up by itself. I don't feel like you have to sit here. It doesn't go any faster. He kills your rocket. That sucks. You probably could have killed him faster, low-key. Here's somebody behind you. You're helping your team here. Honestly, I think your team could have been winning this fight anyways. I think your support might be in danger. Not sure. They're probably forcing him out. But yeah, he left. I'll just keep your head on a swivel because I heard a Star-Lord behind you. He was shooting. At least see what he's doing. If he's committing. If he's not committing, go do what you were going to do anyways. But if he is, I wouldn't just leave your support and your Iron Man back there by themselves. That's a bad ult by her. This is huge actually for you. So now you know their one defensive ult is not going to be up. So same thing. Build your ult. Look for an ult this next fight. You win. I like that you like stood on top of the health pack just to kind of like get a heal after you take damage. But I would take a little bit more damage and get the heal just so you can min-max it. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause eating one bullet and getting a heal is like you could get more value. Yeah. That's from above you. You have your ult though. You don't need to use it though. You don't need to use it. You should win this fight without it. Oh! Technically, I mean, you. Oof. That's rough. I don't think you need to use your ult there. I think you might just win without it. But I'm also not against you using your ult because supports don't have ults. So it's like you're like getting picks and technically countering the Adam ult. Works out though. I'm not mad at your ult. I think it's fine. Who swapped? It wasn't their Star Lord. Interesting that they went to Scarlet. Yeah, I think the big things in that game are just like activity, taking off angles, right? Positioning is going to be really important. I'll try to talk about that a little bit more in this second round. All right, so while we wait for this whole thing to load, we'll go ahead and we'll kind of talk about this map. So, when we come out of spawn, if you ever want to go towards high ground, just look at the stairs. The one with the railing is not high ground. The one without the railing is high ground. So you go this way, bam, and you've been introduced to high ground, right? You don't always have to go to high, but I think fighting for high is always pretty important, pretty nice because it gives your team things to, space to work with, as well as high ground if they really want it. But you could just flank through here if you really need to. Well, once again, keep in mind your team is pretty slow, so you shouldn't be looking to just hard dive or going really quickly unless you see an opportunity. You should kind of be just chilling, getting information, farming tanks, taking space a little bit, and yeah. So while we walk up, we can still talk about it. Go up here. This is the layout of the land, right? So obviously there's this left side, there's point, there's height, right? So just make sure that we're abusing pillars, right? Abusing things that give you natural cover, right? Obviously some break, some move. Keep that in mind. Right here, you're in the open. Not a fan of this. I would want you to get as close as possible. So if either whether you're going through height and getting an angle here, right, or whatever, make sure this is clear. Right, getting an angle here, getting into this corner, right, so you can just like shoot them as they walk out, because you don't want to peek into them. Because one concept that people don't realize is when you peek into them here, they can see you can see them, right, but your team can't see them, right. So ideally, you want to let them go to a position like walking out of this door where they'll be able to see you, but your team can see them too, right? So it's called a crossfire, and it just enables everybody to be shooting the same thing at the same time. A lot of times, players, especially the DPS players, they'll like fight this and they think it's a good fight, but your team can't help you, right? You want your team's help, and sometimes they're not going to help you, but at least give them an opportunity to by not overextending. This is a very aggressive fight. So you going in like this is like not. I don't want to say it's inherently bad, but it's not necessary. Um, so let's just see how this works out. So you die, right? If you would have just sat back here and just been annoying and shot them, been annoying, right? Make them aware of your position, right? Either one, they're gonna chase you and you can leave because now they're not helping their tanks, or they try to ignore you and walk forward, and now you're here. You could still shoot people from here. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a pretty decent position. You don't have to go in. Just because you have the mobility doesn't mean you always need to use it to do things. Sometimes it just enables you to play in weird positions, be really annoying, and then get out, right? So like if I'm here, I'm poking. Am I killing something? No. Am my team going to flame me because something's not dying? Maybe, but I'm going to play the game that's the correct way. When you're playing Starlord, right? You're not just a dive character, right? You're a disruptor. You're a rat. You want to be annoying. Like your whole purpose is to make the enemy team hate you and worry about corners all the time because dang, is he over there? And then punish people who are out of position. You dove into two supports and a DPS that were all bunched up. You're not supposed to win that. Like you're not. So now we're coming back. Team didn't die yet. We have ults. They don't have support. The other defensive ult. I'm not sure if you know that though. Assuming you do though. Yeah, you sure do because you're going for an ult. So I would wait. Yeah, buddy, wait for your team, bruh. Like this, what your idea is not bad. It's the concept that you're messing up right now is timing, right? Timing is very important, right? The difference between you coming out and popping this now and Six looking at you and you waiting till your tank walks out and your deep damages walk out and then you pop it is if they look at you, they're looking away from threats right now by looking at you. There's no punishment, right? Like, look, no one can see them. This is the only option they have, right? You want to give them multiple options, right? When you give them, it's like when you got a multiple choice, right? You got to make a decision. Which one's the right answer? I don't know, but this is blatantly the right answer. This is like, hey, when you see a stop sign, do you stop? Yes. Okay. That's how easy this decision was. You don't want their decisions to be easy. You want them to have to make hard choices. Do I look at the Star-Lord who's ulting? Do I look at the Groot who's running at my backline? Because Groot almost has ult. So if Groot walks out, you go in, Groot's getting pocketed, Groot's building ult, you pop ult, they look at you, now they're not paying attention to the Groot, Groot pops ult. If your ult doesn't kill anything, Groot ult kills things, right? So it's like, yeah, just a little too early, man, a little too early. Oh, dang, man, you hit your head hard as hell. But you all playing mid, what you do is you create, like, I hate how there's like, you can't just see through certain objects. That would be nice. But what you create is like now there's so many angles they can fight you from, right? Like you're like fish in a barrel. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want that. Obviously nobody's here, but you don't want this. You don't want this. You want map control, right? I would much rather, prefer you being up here trying to fight this out, right? Maybe not hard committing, getting heals from your supports. Iron Man's helping you, than everybody just sitting on point. Because you don't. Once you cap it, you don't need to sit on it. It's gonna cap itself. More people doesn't make it go faster. That's just not how it works. Not like the convoy and convergence stuff. So now she's ulting on point. Now she's not. Her team's not going to down point. But your thought process needs to be: if I can't kill anything, what am I going to do? Get good positioning, build your ult, you know, get information. Because right now, sitting on point, like nothing's going to die except you. My point exactly. After every fight, or when there's a lot of downtime, you need to be thinking of where can I position myself to make the next fight easier, right? Where can I position myself to be a thorn in the side of the enemy, right? It shouldn't be, I'm just going to sit on mid and not do nothing, right? Because then you're not proactive, you're not being proactive enough. That's one thing that I was commenting on in the beginning, is that I feel like you're too inactive. Not only in fights, but in pre and post fights. Okay, the enemy's down 3. You don't need to ult this. You could have got that pick without that ult. Yeah, I think that's a waste. That's a really big waste. You could have got that pick without the ult. You got to just get that pick normally, and then that next fight you have a free ult because they don't have any support ults. So you just tell your team, hey, let them come out. Don't give them ults. Right? I have a free ult. They die. But like let the group go mid, man. Get like an off angle. So right now, and I should have explained this earlier, but we'll explain it now. So when it comes to compositions, you are on triple DPS, right? So we'll do numbers, right? To symbolize your comp, right? So you got 3 1s, so triple DPS, right? So fighting for space, hard brawling on your comp is going to be very hard, right? Your comp wants to tank angles, right? So you have like poke, you kind of have like inconsistent poke. You're like the best like consistent damage here. But your job is going to be to consistently be doing damage. So if I'm you, I'm playing around these pillars around point, right, and or like high ground, and I'm just trying to pepper people down, right, get people low, so that these guys can get picks, right? Because that's my job in this specific composition. Um, I don't want to hard brawl up mid because if I die, right, we don't have any consistent damage, and we're relying on these guys to kind of pop off. When at the end of the day, it's your job to win your games. You don't want to put your games in other people's hands, so you can't be dying. This is very ambitious. You gotta heal, so yeah. So my biggest issue about the ult is, oh, you can get him. Is that you had no information prior to popping it, so you didn't know where to look for anybody. Don't fall off. Oof. Yeah. Better walk into. Oh. Ooh. Oh, this is winnable. Just leave. Let her blow up. Let her blow up. If you're not gonna kill her, get out. Because if this hits you, oh, it kills two. Ah. No, portal's crazy. I feel like your Strange definitely should be portaling here to give y'all early better position. Oh, I would have pushed right side here. You don't have the range to be playing left side. You go right side anyways, but I would have been here like 10 hours ago. Like right there, you could have did your little favorite little fly, your little spinny thing. If you would have just flew in, just fly in. Gotta be careful though, because obviously, I mean, you should be getting healed. Like you shouldn't die doing it. But yeah, you could have did it. You could have flew up, went barely over the wall, hit him, hit him, hit him, hit him, got out, canceled your fly. I say try not to dodge if you haven't used any ammo, unless you absolutely need to dodge an attack or an ability. Right there, you could have ate a little bit of damage. Ate a little bit of damage while shooting and then rolled. Flipped, whatever you want to call it. You're too far away, man. Like, why are we back here? Like, this is a problem. Like, why is anybody back here? There's no way you guys are gold and don't understand that you don't need to. Once this is capped, you don't need to stand on this. Like, look at your tanks. Your tanks are begging for help, man. They need heals. They need damage. They need support. Like, where's the Iron Man? Where's our team? Oh my gosh. You gotta move up, bruh. You have to move. You gotta be up here. You gotta be fighting. Like your support's gotta be with you too. You're doing no damage from here. Because your fall off is like once you go past this, like, you start doing like less and less and less and less damage and you're shooting at this. Like brother, you're not a sniper. You're not. You're tickling them. You're the tickle monster right now. Ugh, we gotta walk up. Look at it. You left both your tanks, and now they just. No, you don't ult this, man. Oh my gosh, you get two is. The fact that you get two is illegal. This is a great example of just because it works doesn't mean it's a good play. Don't do that. Don't do that ever again. It's different if the cap was like about to go, you're about to win the round, and you want to win the round, but it's like no, because you just wasted an ult to get two kills, but not even two kills because Starlord's gonna rest himself, and Adam might just rest himself too. I'm not sure if he's has it up. Right? Like you eliminate the Star Lord from Therese, and then just get you right back because his team's there, so he can do that. Your team's not there, so you're like getting picks for just mere percentages sometimes. Now you don't have any else to engage with. I think you're starting to like not get tilted, but like you're like getting desperate. Because what is that? You just used damn near all your cooldowns to do nothing. Aye. Maybe you're relying on that ability really hard because you're not like really like confident in your aim. But what you were just doing there, you could have did that without even having to go in. You could have just been shooting people. Like I want you to think of that move right there as a like when you need to hit difficult shots, you do that. When you want to finish somebody, right? That's like elusive, you do that, right? Like let's say you got like a rocket that's like going around the wall, right? You fly up to him and then do that, finish that frag. You got an Iron Man who's flying away, chase him, do it, finish that frag. But I don't want you to rely on that move. Like yeah, you can do it for AoE damage. I think that's cool, but I feel like you're using it. You rely on it too much. Like the three ways that I would use it is one, like I just said, well, four ways I guess. One, finish somebody who's really low that I don't feel confident that I'm gonna hit my shots. Right. Use it against really elusive characters if I feel like I need to. Um, or what's the other one I was gonna say? You could do it as. You could do it as, if they're really grouped up and you want AoE damage, or if you've used both your flips and don't have ammo, that's a way of, you know, you getting more ammo in a sense. You're using more ammo, right? So it's like you gotta be careful though, because then you're really you're all inning, and you gotta make sure you get out so you can reload and yada yada. But yeah, like those are the ways that I would use it. Here at the bottom right, I like that you're kind of playing right here. You can look to collapse on something in the back line. Like you're looking at the wrong thing there. Like if he's gonna die, he's gonna die anyways. I would look for a squishy, a support. Like you're looking at the wrong things. Like imagine you would have just stood where you was at. You could have probably got a 1v1 against this guy, or you could have dropped on a support into their back, right? Because fighting one of these while they're getting healed is hard compared to fighting this. And now like, she can't heal herself, or she has to use cooldowns, important cooldowns that her team needs on herself. So Cloak's ulting. I know that I can't kill anything now, so my thought process is going to be just get better positioning, because there's no way that anything I shoot is going to die, right? So I'm just going to be focused on just getting to where I want to be, right? I don't need to be on point. It's 94 to 46. Screw it. Now Magneto's ulting, right? I don't want to get slam dunked. So now, not only am I looking to get better positioning, right? But I'm also looking to not get deleted, right? So I don't want to just back up mid. I want to get inside, or I want to get height, right? But I want to make sure that I don't get slam dunked by Magneto. So I'd probably back up to the back right door so that I can retake to the high ground when the time is right. But yeah. And then we hear born again, right? They're dumping everything. They don't want to lose this because they don't want to lose the game, right? Makes sense. And now, what's his name is ulting. So I definitely don't want to be in the open here. There's just too many threats in the open. Now we lose two people, right? And then we're ulting. Like we're ulting when we're already down two. Like you could have saved that ult and you could have used that to retake, right? But the reason why you ulted so fast there is because you've already made a decision in your head to ult and you committed to it mentally, right? Like I wasn't even thinking about my ult yet, right? So it's like, why are you so focused on I need to ult, I need to ult, I need to ult, right? Right there, they dump everything, right? If you have the, if you, especially if you have the knowledge, like, hey, they're coming back with ults and we're about to win, they're gonna dump everything. Just you got to respect the ults, right? And just play in a way to where you're not gonna die to it. Hopefully your team does the same, and let them dump everything, right? Because they have to, or they're gonna just lose anyways, right? And then you come back and you dump your stuff, right? So right now, like you're down two, especially you're down at DPS. There's nothing that's immediate threat. Hulk just got bannered. He's shrinking. They have to they for one, they can't even look at him until he shrinks. The only logical thing to look at is you. You die, right? So you just gotta slow it down. Just understand how to react to certain ults, right? Like you are really really hyperactive, and if you compare yourself to me, who's a grandmaster DPS player, I'm more wary of things, especially because when I'm on Star-Lord, because anything can just kill me, right? I don't want to die when I'm dead. I don't bring any value, right? So especially with the fact that Adam Warlock ulted, like you heard him ult, and then you're ulting into his ult. That makes it even worse too, because anything you kill is just gonna get revived. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's that aspect too. I totally forgot to bring that up. So let's say you would have killed one of these guys. Yeah, you're shooting somebody else. Why are you shooting somebody else? They're getting rest. You can still go right. You can still go right. You don't gotta go mid. Uh. I already know how you're feeling. You're in the middle of all that, and you're like, I can't see anything. So you gotta get out. If you don't have any cooldowns, you're going back in. I guess you went back in to get healed though, and that's fine. I think you going back in real quick, get healed, get bubble, even though if it wasn't intentional, it works out. Because you went from being out of LOS to your team, and you're being alone, to coming back into your LOS to fight with them. But now you got healthy. I'd get out. I'd get out of the mid again. I wouldn't stay here. You're just asking to get focused. Remember, you're not a brawler. You're an off-angler. You're a flanker, a disruptor. By going up mid, you're not disrupting nothing. You're just getting shot at. And that's how the cookie crumbles. Yeah, so to the notes we go. Alrighty, the notes that I have for you today, right, are going to be number one, positioning, right? I need you to understand what parts of the map are powerful, right? And are power positions, for example, high grounds, right? And how you can go about fighting for them. as well as using them to your advantage, right? If you've played a shooter, you know how annoying it can be to have to look up, shoot somebody, right? Looking down on somebody or at the same level or at a slight thing is nice. The second you have to look up, it's very awkward, right? So you want to put yourself in positions to where you can take advantage of that, as well as just have good positions that can oversee the map, the objective, right? There will be some high grounds that are just utterly useless in some games, right? So it's not about just take high ground to take high ground. You want to take high ground that gives you an advantage over what you want to do in that current situation, right? And then just obviously, how am I gonna go about it? Like, am I gonna hard contest them? Am I gonna while my team pushes into them, am I gonna take an off angle so that I can collapse onto the back line, or I can shoot them in the side, right? Yeah, things like that. And then number two is gonna be ult usage, right? I want you to understand, right? Ulting when you are down team members normally is a waste, right? Because we don't want to use our ults to equalize. We want to use it to gain an advantage, right? So when we think of the game, and I'm going to simplify it, right? Instead of just make it smaller, 3v3, right? You got 3, 3. When it's 3v3, using an ult to make it 3v3, from 3v3 to 3v2, good, right? But using an ult when it's 2v3 to make it a 2v2 isn't good. Because if it, let's say they use an ult, boom, they eliminate somebody, right? So now we're using an ult, and the fight's already basically already over numerically, right? And we use an ult to just equalize, right? That ult, it may seem good, but it's not usually not equally. It's not equal because they've already got the initial pick, which means that now they've gotten space and yada yada yada, right? Typically, you want to get more value, right? So in a case where you can guarantee that you're going to get picks to put you at an advantage, that's cool. But typically, we don't want to trade one for one. We want to get more value than the enemies. So when the enemy pops a super strong ult and they get a pick, that fight's over for the most part. So you should just like unless you can guarantee, right? Unless you are guaranteed to get more value than that ult, you kind of just back up, right? And then you reaggress with that ult, right? And now you get the advantage. And then number three, right? It's going to be cover cooldowns HP, right? We need to work on abusing natural cover more so that we can use our cooldowns more efficient, right? So that we can make sure that we're not getting low and not able to fight or getting eliminated, right? Because you can't bring value from the grave and you can't bring value when you're basically non-existent when they know that you can't fight because you're too low, right? That's a very basic thing, but when you put it into practice, it will get you so far, right? Because like I said, the wall that can't be broken has infinite health. Granted, you can't shoot through it either, but like if you have the better position, if you're like that example I gave you in the beginning, you get to that corner. Now you're shooting the Thor, but the enemy can't shoot you. You're doing more damage than you are taking. That's good. Right, that's good. Is there times where you're gonna have to swing out and do yada yada yada? Yes, but like there's gonna be a lot of opportunities where you can mitigate how much damage you're taking and you're still outputting good damage. Now, does that mean I want you to get in that corner and shoot somebody who's really far away? Who's like, well, technically I'm doing more damage than I'm taking, right? But no, like you need to be doing effective damage, right? With that being said, I think if you work on these three things, I think that you'll definitely improve. One more tip that I'll add in there is don't be afraid to be active. You're in the golds, the silver, and the plat ranks, right? This is the rank to start ironing out your weaknesses. So if you don't feel comfortable fighting when you're on DPS, you need to take fights, right? You need to get better at fighting, yada yada. Because it's cool to get the fundamentals down and to go up, right? But being a DPS also is a mental game. It could be that way for all roles. But for me personally, when I made the switch, because I used to tank in other games and support in other games, making that switch to DPS, you have to like have a mentality shift because you have to understand that there's going to be a lot of times where you're going to be taking duels. There's going to be a lot of times when you have to just win a fight, right? And you got to have not only confidence, but a little bit of ego, right? A little bit of delusion. You have to just think you're better than the other guy. Because the second you stop thinking that you're better than them and you're afraid to make decisions because of that, you start messing up. Or they start taking those aggressive fights and they start beating you, and that's just going to get you more and more and more. It's also good to have a good mental because it's okay to lose a fight. I'm gonna get my get back, right? You can't be like, oh, I lost. This guy's gonna torture me all game. Can't think like that, right? So if that's something, and I feel like that might be for you, if you are doubt yourself, if you're a little afraid, heck, if it even means in casuals, just running it down for a bit, just like You know, because these guys aren't inherently better than you. Y'all are in the same rank for the same reasons. Well, you're all in the same rank, not for the same reasons, but for different reasons. So somebody can be mechanically better than you, but they don't know what the hell they're doing, and vice versa. So just use this time to practice the things that I tell you, but also just work on your confidence, your mental, things like that, because it's really going to come down to how much you know and how confident you are to really rise up the ranks, right? And that's just the reality. With that being said, hopefully you and everybody else who watched this enjoyed and learned something along the way. For anybody else who's interested in coaching, all you got to do is click the link below, go to my Discord, go to the VOD review submission channel, and yeah, send in a little match ID with your IGN. I'll have a little template for you that you can fill out. So, that being said, peace out, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.